of us with her charm, but also helping you dazzle with charm, making such a meaningful connection. Not everyone's able to do that, but hopefully she can pass it on. Perfect ingredients to win at networking. And today we're going to be talking about the art of networking and its importance. And of course, to learn more about it, we have a very, very, very special guest with us, Bindu Bhatia. Bindu, of course, is the MD and founder of New Code Talent Academy. She helps individuals and organizations build winning mindsets through unique learning experiences that are based on neural codes and advanced psychology concepts. Hi, Bindu. So good to have you here.
Hello, Shagufta, and thank you. I'm delighted to be here. Very excited.
Now, you, of course, have been helping people and businesses realize their fullest potential. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you got into it and the transformational work that you're doing.
Absolutely, sure. So before I begin, Shagufta, you've been asking a lot of questions. Let me ask one with you.
Sure.
So the question is, what do you do when you have a headache?
I mean, you want the real answer?
Real answer.
So first I begin by trying to massage my own head. I look around the room to see, is there anyone here who can do it for me, and then realize there's nobody there. Otherwise, I pop a pill.
What do you do when you have fever, mild fever? You know what to do?
I mean, again, I think I depend too much on modern medication. So I do pop a pill again.
And we know exactly which pill.
I think so. I've been taking the same thing every time.
Awesome. So if you get some burn, cut while cooking or whatever, what do? You know?
I immediately shout for my mother. When she's not there, then I go to the cold water and put it over my burn.
And you have all the doctors in place, you know who to go to.
I think
How do we know all of this?
I don't know. Are we conditioned to believe that this is the right way of doing it?
Yeah. And there is a lot of focus in the world.
Right.
Around how do you maintain your physical health, right? Since childhood, I have a 9-year-old child, and she would know, Mama, bandit time, it's cut. She knows. Why? Because we have been talking about it. But unfortunately, there are some emotional injuries also that we get, right?
Right.
We go through pains, we go through our own cuts and burns every day basis. And what do we do then? Do you have a direct answer? And that is where the thought was, let us begin thinking about how can we educate people on something called emotional intelligence. Unfortunately, across the globe, none of the schools really have emotional intelligence as one of the subjects. While we go through emotional hurts much, much more times, many more times than a physical hurt. And since last 22 years, Shagufta, I have been into learning and development. I've worked with a lot of companies, and one that I would really want to mention is Accenture. I'm an ex-Accenture.
Wow.
And out of those 17 years in corporate and 5 years in New Code Talent Academy, the focus, the mission is to ensure that we reach out to as many people as we can and let them know how to manage emotions.
Right.
Increase that awareness. Have that awareness of when in office you have a toxic boss or a toxic peer, when you get a feedback that's not palatable, how do you deal with it? How do you deal with bullies? How do you deal with a lot of setbacks that you get? I didn't get promotion. They got comparisons. We didn't learn that in childhood.
Right.
So that's the whole premises of New Code Talent Academy. Last 5 years, I've been running this organization, and thankfully, the kind of programs that we design, the kind of coaching that we give, we have impacted around 50,000 plus professionals across the globe. There are around 56 clients already we are empaneled with. I run non-profit groups like Positive Lights, and the whole mission of my life is to reach out to as many people as we can and increase this awareness, increase this knowledge. It's like user manual of the most complex machine in the world, which is brain.
The brain,
So,
really
yes.
complex. And I feel like you have figured out a lot more than the average human being has about humankind and about everyone else. So I'm really going to pick at your brain. I'm going to really pick at your brain today because, first of all, you're doing such amazing, incredible work. But our topic today is about networking and, its significance. But before we get the ball rolling, let's have some fun with the rapid fire. Just to loosen up a little. Are you okay with that?
Absolutely.
All right.
Bring it on.
All right. There we go then. So can you describe success in 3 words?
Okay. Success for me, first, am I living my passion every day? Second, are my relationships meaningful?
Right.
And third is, am I able to make a difference every day in someone's life?
Right.
These are 3 things that I gauge my success with.
So now you spoke about inspiring other people, but what inspires you every day?
Awesome. So it's like chicken and egg. From last quite a few years, what inspires me are those notes, gratitude notes, those messages that I receive from people who went through our programs, coaching, telling us about how it changed their lives. I think that's the most inspiring thing for me. I get encouraged.
Now, this might be a tricky question for someone in your field, but psychology or meditation?
Okay, yes, it is. I think both lead into each other. Right?
Yeah.
You start with meditation, you get a lot insights around psychology. You start with psychology. So for me, it happened with my own interest in psychology. I wanted to learn. I'm an engineer by education background, and I wanted to learn the logic. How do these emotions really work?
Right.
So, yeah, I learned about psychology, I learned about neuroscience and master practitioner in neuro-linguistic programming. So, yes, all of that built together got me into meditation.
All right. So, meditation. Great. Okay, another one. Filter coffee or cappuccino?
Neither.
What?
I'm a tea person. So, yeah.
I'm also a tea person. I can't do without it.
Cool.
Are you the same way?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
1 cup every morning?
1 cup every morning, no matter what dietitians say. I cannot leave tea.
It's true. I'm the same exact way. Now, can you tell me, fill in the blank for me or complete the sentence for me. You are grateful for blank. One thing.
Everything, Shagufta, that has happened in my life. Good, bad, every decision that I've made in my life. Good, bad, has made me what I am today. And I'm in love with myself today. So, yes, thankful to everything.
You're in love with yourself, and we also have so much to love about you. So it's good to know that. Now, Bindu, of course, you're so passionate about what you do and building emotional intelligence and all of that and helping all of us get really comfortable. So let's go straight into our topic at hand, networking, right? Do we have to fake it till we make it, or is there an actual process and how we can make networking easier?
Fake it till you make it makes me cringe. Okay, so I'm never going to say fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Okay, but yes, absolutely. If your question is how emotional intelligence is related to networking and how we can make it happen. Let me talk about networking first. What is it, right? Networking comprises of 3 things. One is your skill, right? You learn the skills. There are so many videos on YouTube. You go on Google, how to shake hands, how to meet people, how to be a social butterfly. You can just learn everything from YouTube. Yet, the number that we are seeing today, 90% of women professionals especially cringe in the name of networking, even if they have the skill. Why? Because there are 2 more factors in networking. One is your will, and second is the human connect. Truly human, as Accenture says, right? When it comes to will, there are a lot of myths attached to networking. Now look at the slide. Look at how different kind of limiting beliefs, like, networking is not for me. I cringe when it is about networking. It's a waste of time. Why can't I just work and get things done? Why do I have to talk to people meaninglessly? So yeah, these are certain beliefs, certain myths, certain fears. What, stops us from really taking that action. So that's your will, right? It will not happen till the time you have those fears, and we were talking about imposter syndrome,
Right.
all of that, right? And the second part about networking is human connect. Networking is not about just going, looking at people, hi there, how are you? It's not about that. It's about truly sitting with the person, understanding them, empathizing with them, knowing them, and knowing yourself. And these last two things, will and being human, is nothing but emotional intelligence. I mean, emotional intelligence can help you, be authentic, and present yourself out there. Get that power, that confidence to go out and
Intelligence.
yes.
So that's what I'm supposed to leave from here with, right? Emotional intelligence. Okay, Bindu's going to help me do that, but she's going to help all of us as well. And of course, this all resonates with us, right? Because in all our line of work, we have to walk into a room and actually network with people. So instead of being afraid of doing that, or, not having the confidence, we need to build ourselves up and make sure, with your guidance, of course, that we can ace this. Now, it is certainly important to, break free from these thinking patterns and do this. But can you also take us through some more of the myths that, we are presented with in our workplace? Like one you said is that I don't really need to meet people. I don't really need to do this networking. That's obviously not true, but some more that you've come across.
So I'll give you some examples of what I went through, what was going on in my mind, and how I overcame those as well. So two things. One, when I started with my journey into leadership roles and obviously entrepreneurship, I had this very choking, limiting belief about it that what if I go there and they judge me?
Right.
Judge me as in I'm manipulative or I need a lot of work from them. That's why I'm talking to them. There were a lot of fears as well. What if I'm not able to, that imposter syndrome that you were talking about, right? So I looked beyond that. I looked at what is my core fear? What is stopping me? And one of the biggest fear that was stopping me was, what will people think? And that's where I worked on myself with my mentor. Everyone has a mentor,
Right.
so and should. So this person gave me a very transformational answer. And the answer was, Bindu, you're thinking about what will people think if you go out and network and meet people. I want you to spend next 5 minutes to write down, what do you want people to think about you? And trust me, when I wrote those things, it just shifted something inside me. I wanted people to see me as an enabler.
Yeah.
I wanted people to see me as someone who creates value for them. Someone who's willing to make meaningful long-term relationships. So it's all in here.
Yeah.
Whenever you have any fear that is stopping you, you have that what if sentence, just reframe.
Right.
Reframe of what do you want them to think, and it just completely turns around your whole being. So yeah, that was one. About fears.
What about, some of the tips that you have that, we can actually do to help women network? So what are the some simple things? Like, if I have business cards, should I be afraid of giving it to someone when I meet them? Or, how do I present myself without making it seem like I'm overconfident? I know everything about everyone. I don't need you to help me with anything.
Okay. So for that, I would want to take you to, let's take a step back.
Yeah.
These are all, we're talking about confidence here.
Yeah.
We're talking about how do we feel authentic? How do we feel strategic about it, right? So if I take a step back, let's look at what is networking.
Yeah.
Networking is not about meaninglessly, aimlessly meeting people in a room.
Right.
Meaninglessly going there and shaking your hands and say, hi, how are you? I am fine.
We have an objective for why you're going networking.
One is your external objective. Yeah. Internally, I think we need to define it for ourselves. I did a lot of study around the domain of networking itself. What is it? And two things that struck out for me were that networking is never one way. When you're going out there to meet a person and you want to position your authentic self, then think about how can I add value to that person. When you shift your mindset from taking to giving, am I able to add value to them? Can I impact them? That is when the shift happens. Internally, you are in alignment with yourself. You feel comfortable because now you're going with the mindset of giving. Right? Mindset of adding value.
Yeah.
Automatically, there is no specific way, too tight, too loose.
Yeah.
You go, your body language will guide you. Your mind guides your body language.
So I'm just going to ask you, for all the introverts out there who, feel like they don't have the tools, or their personality doesn't allow them to do that. What tips do you have for them?
Okay. So first, let me just begin with saying that introverts out there, this era is yours. When we look at introverts, objectively, neuroscience proves that they are uncomfortable in physical presence of a lot of people.
Yeah.
Today, we are in a social media world. I mean, you have so many different ways of presenting your point of views. Be smart about it, right? Now, another thing that introverts are very good at is analyzing, thinking, right? Doing a lot of analysis. And I would say just use that power to see which are those 20% of people with whom you can network, and they can leverage you, you can leverage them, and mutually it will be the most beneficial relationship. You don't need to meet out hundreds of out there. You can just choose those 20 and focus there. Right? And I think those are two advices that I'll have for the introverts out there. But another one that I have seen people, and this was very interesting. There are a lot of leaders, big leaders out there. Okay, Simon Sinek, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. Do you know all of them were introverts?
Really? I mean, I can see Bill Gates a little bit because he seems like he's introverted, but I didn't know that Steve Jobs and
Simon Sinek. Yeah. Now, Simon Sinek has actually made a video, and I was just looking at it the other day. I really found it very interesting. Introverts like to listen.
Right.
Use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
You prepare for every meeting some questions.
Yeah.
You ask the question and you listen.
Right.
You do your favorite job. Right? So, yeah, being prepared, being curious can help you build those relationships.
Yeah.
So, yeah, need to be a little smarter about it. But yes, it's...
Now, you mentioned some very successful men that have been introverts, but let's shift the focus a little bit specifically to women. Women like you and me who obviously need to get an equal footing in the room with the rest of the men, right? What are some tips you have directed specifically towards them? How can they be proactive?
Okay, so can you go to the previous slide, please? And I will tell you one article I was reading. It was a research by Forbes. And Forbes came up with these 5 that you see on it, these 5 networking barriers.
Yeah.
And I found them very strong. I personally also resonated with few. So I brought it here. Women network with lower level employees and peers. You will see a lot of men out there who'd go and sit even for lunch or tea or coffee with senior leaders.
Right.
But women have this inherent. And you know why? Because we're conditioned. The good girl should be timid. The good girl should be this. And that good girl definition somehow is so conditioned in ourselves that going out, reaching out to the senior audience becomes a problem. So here, that's one place where if we're able to break the myth, ensure women out there meet at least 2 or 3 senior leaders in a month.
Yeah.
Right? Make those conscious efforts. What's your relationship with authority? And that can clarify. Now, the second one, women suffer from lack of confidence regarding their network contribution. And lack of confidence, we've talked previously around imposter syndrome and I am not good enough. Do you know, as per a Dove study, 7 out of 10 women in the world feel that they are not good enough.
Sad.
And I think it's more deeper than, just going out there and network. So I think if we can build that confidence using certain tips, put ourselves out there, it will help. Then next one, women feel uncomfortable with exploitative nature of networking. And this is what we were talking about, right? A lot of myths. Networking is for people who don't have work.
Yeah.
Or it's for people, my boss will see me working and will give me promotion. Yeah. Boss, forget it. That's not going to happen. That's a myth.
Yeah.
You need to go out there, talk about your own hard work, right? So I think the definition of networking in our brain, we need to change it.
Right.
Networking is all about how can I give and how, what is the mutually beneficial relationship we can build. So yeah. Fourth one, women miss out on networking opportunities because of childcare. And I think that is a very big one. I don't want to go out for a party because I feel so much of guilt when my child is at home and I'm enjoying out there in the party. I think those are certain places, one, women out there can, if how I dealt with it was that, one, have a very, very strong support system. I would say be proactive about it. Second, the child, it's not about the quantity of time you're spending with them, it's about the quality. So even if it is 1 hour and you spend quality time, you will see your child is still growing well. So yeah, take out those moments. But last thing, women with small children who feel networking is not their cup of tea. Remember, women, this is just a phase, just 2 or 3 years. Be smart about networking. How can you be smart about networking? Some tips.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Whenever you have time, spend at least 15 minutes in a day dedicated to networking. Go out on platforms like LinkedIn. Go out on platforms that are internal, like Accenture has Accenture Circles, different platforms, and figure out who are the influencers there. Right? If you are an introvert, you don't need to create something on your own, or someone who's not comfortable putting out their content. You can always the idea is to have a recall value. If you can build that recall value, if you can be out there for just 15 minutes, ensure that your key stakeholders, your key networks are seeing you out there, be smart about it. It's fine. Build your visibility. And last one, women feel excluded from stereotypical male activities. They go out on smoke breaks.
Yeah.
We don't want to. and rightly so. You do something big.
Yeah.
Right? You set up forums like these. Invite senior leaders. That will have more recall value. Use AAA battery. You know what is AAA battery? All human beings run on this. Appreciation, acknowledgement, and acceptance.
AAA batteries.
And you just, in any forum that you have, like people, if you like something, say it out, appreciate, acknowledge people. You're creating your recall value. So those are small little tips and tricks. But in the end, I think what is very important is to be intentional about networking. What we have talked about are tricks, tips, techniques. But here is something, Shagufta, I would like to call out for all of you out there. If you go out there and with the intent of networking, very good. But if you go out with proactive plan of networking, even better. Right. So here is something that I learned, which turned the tables for me. What I learned was that there are 3 types of networking.
Right.
The first type of networking, especially for professional women, the first type of networking is operational networking, which means in my current role, to be able to do it well, who are the people who I need to network? Now, when we are talking about operational networking,